welcome everybody to one of our new ideas for a podcast, A Slice of Retro. My name's Chris and I'm Retroslice Gaming. I also have with me Retroyder. How are you, buddy?
Hi, Chris. I'm great. Thank you. My name is Mauricio. I'm from Brazil, also known as Retroyder. Yeah.
Yeah, through the community. Okay, so for our first episode of A Slice of Retro, we wanted to do some of our favourite game highlights, didn't we, buddy?
Yes. Great.
So, as you can see in the background there, just to touch on this first, we are doing one of our challenges at the moment on the community. The first one for this month is a Commodore 64 challenge. Now, I've been trying this a little bit, Midnight Resistance. It's it was brought forth by one of our members, Gary, wasn't it? And it's definitely interesting. It's good. I like it, but it's not easy. I'm finding that first boss a bit tough, so I need to get past him before I post any scores, I think. How about you? Have you tried it yet?
Not yet, but I managed like Turrican, right? So that's definitely a challenge, but I'm looking forward to, I hope to try it today.
Yeah, same. I'm going to keep at it and hopefully get a score in there soon. So, as most of us know, who's going to listen to this podcast initially, we are Retro Slice Gaming, a retro gaming community. We have a Discord, YouTube, and Instagram page that you can check out. And for this time, as I say, we wanted to highlight some games. So, our first game is Altered Beast on the Sega Mega Drive.
Yeah.
Hey,
So I actually got my all my Mega Drives are actually Japanese, so it's gonna
yeah.
be all Japanese here. Yeah.
So do you have the manual with yours, buddy? Because that's a letdown on mine. Is the game box is in pretty good condition, but I have no manual.
Yeah, I gotta say, if people that follow me probably realize, but I'm kind of CIB collector, so I try my best to get the the whole thing
Everything.
there. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty nice. I already shared on my profile as well, and I gotta say, for Mega Drives, I think it's my personal favorite. Cards. I mean, boxes, cases, and manuals, all pretty much colorful. Many hand drawn artwork. Um, and explain the games all in visual stuff. Very colorful. I mean, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, and the Japanese ones are always distinctly different, aren't they, from the UK ones? I noticed that, and the other PAL and European releases, they definitely have some unique artwork on them. And like you say, with most Mega Drive games as well, some of the artwork on them, Streets of Rage instantly comes to mind.
Yeah.
Sonic, Altered Beast. There's many that really do have some impressionable images, don't they? But what an era, what an era the 16-bit era was for gaming. You're holding a literal classic and a first release. Yeah, am I not wrong
Yeah,
on the
I
Mega?
gonna try to look so here. Maybe it's reversed, but it's G4001. It's actually the first one, but it was not exactly launched first. So Mega Drive was launched in '88, right in Japan. But this one came, I believe, about 1 month later in '88, actually. Yeah, so the
Okay.
first one was the first two games was actually Space Harrier 2 and Super Thunderblade the same day, Game Mega Drive release. But this one came about 1 month later, and then came bundle right with the US. I think in Brazil as well. There was a bundle right in Brazil, US, probably Europe as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think quite thankful because okay, I don't have a manual, but the cartridge and the label are in pretty good shape. This is the bit that always gets worn, isn't it, with the fingers and whatnot. But
Yeah, exactly.
it's not doing too bad. And obviously, as soon as I get one, I get some IPA on there and whatnot.
Yeah, it's noticeable the difference here, right? The slot and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Your artwork is so much. I don't know. It's like a different print completely, isn't it?
Yeah, the Japanese one have this round here edge, right, as well. I think
Yeah.
yours looks kind of better in a way, because this the other round stuff, it's kind of weird, but no, it's beautiful. But I think
It does. your label wrap around the back there because obviously on the back of mine it's just
Yeah, it's on Japanese. So
you got a label and yeah.
yeah, it's probably saying the same thing, right? Probably.
Yeah, caution, do not eat.
Yeah. So any special memories on this game?
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. I wasn't allowed to have it back then. I didn't have a Mega Drive early on, and I then eventually got one, and there was key games that I wanted, even as a kid. And I'd show them to like my mum and my dad in the supermarket and go, no, you're not having that. Oh, okay. I'd go and pick up some Commodore 64 tapes and get them instead. Because, they weren't cheap then, were they? I remember Mega Drive games being 50, £60 back then, some of them. And that was a lot of money,
Yeah,
for a game. Okay, some of them did come down a bit, but, you're talking probably 40, £50. But, that was a lot of money.
right.
So I didn't have a big Mega Drive collection, but I did go around to people's houses, and that was my ideal opportunity to, and some of them were like older people that I knew as such. I was in my teens and whatnot. So yeah, I did have distinct memories of it. I remember seeing Altered Beast and just being fascinated by it. I used to watch them play it and have a go on it, and they knew I wasn't really allowed to play it. I was a bit young, but it was an amazing game. It really was.
Yes,
But as I say, when I was in my teens and went around to other people's houses, I was just on it solidly.
yes. Great. Yeah,
It's got
me too.
really nice music, nice graphics.
Definitely.
It's it's a memorable platformer. It's got that sort of just the mystic elements about it, hasn't it? The levels aren't easy neither. Those things that jump on your head and suck at you. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Took me a while. How to figure to get them off.
yeah. And no, the iconic like slogan, right, the rise from your grave, like it's like a slogan, the famous quotes, right, the quotes, is the word. So the quotes like rise from your grave, and
Yeah.
it's so powerful and meaning, like menacing, right? It's really scared as a kid. So no, also
And
the
that's it.
the soundtrack as well.
I don't know whether, sort of my parents got the wrong impression of the game when I was that bit younger, but, I tried my
Yeah,
best to get it and failed. So, I probably was a bit late to the Altered Beast boat as such because, as I say, my only opportunity would be when elsewhere to play it. So, yeah, it wasn't a game I owned, unfortunately, but, I definitely made up for that. And I love playing it. I love playing it. I don't just have it on the Mega Drive. I have other ports of it as well on Amiga and stuff like that. So it's a nice game on whichever system you play it on. But I don't know, the Mega Drive, it's definitely got that nostalgia, hasn't it?
yes, yes, it's definitely for everyone, right? For everyone that lived back in the day. And
Yeah, and I remember that, seeing adults playing it at ease. It wasn't just kids. That's the thing. It wasn't a game that just attracted kids and sort of teenagers. It was a game that attracted full-on adults as well. You guys in their 30s and 40s. I remember seeing playing it and equally as much enjoying it as I did.
and the arcade there was anywhere popular in the UK, the arcade.
I never remember seeing an Altered Beast on an
Yeah,
arcade.
me
To be
too.
honest, no.
Me neither. Yeah,
Uh, I mean, yeah, there were arcades, as people know in the UK back in the day. There still are now.
yeah.
They're coming back on. Right? Let's face it, it's a growing trend. These arcade bars and whatnot, which I definitely want to see more of. But back then in the UK, it was more seaside towns and stuff like that that used to have the arcades, or amusement parks,
Yeah.
or the like the
More
caravan
family,
park.
right? More family stuff, right? Let's just say. So
Yeah,
Altered Beast can be, like you said, like more uh, for the older audience, right? For teenagers
that's kind of the way it seemed back then. To me, yeah, that's definitely the way it seemed. I didn't know many of my friends, sort of, when it initially come out, that played it. If they had a Mega Drive, they were playing Sonic or something else like that. It wasn't Altered Beast. It was more the older guys that were playing that. Sort of in the 20s and 30s. I say older, but you know what I mean. It was definitely a game that attracted a lot of people, I think, and still does now. It's a big hitter, isn't it? It's not that expensive, surprisingly. really. I mean, I don't think I paid a lot of money for my copy. Maybe sort of, okay, it's minus the manual, but maybe £20, £25 maximum I would have paid for that. I don't even think I paid that, to be honest, but I have had it for a while, so I'm not sure what the current price trend is on eBay for it.
Yeah, it's not that much expensive for the Japanese as well. Back in the day, my dad probably managed to get an import as well, but used to rent as well the game.
So your
My
dad is a fan as well.
Yeah, so I think it's probably an import. He probably bought at some period, but yeah, and it's really a short game, but once you figure out when once you uh, get good on the game, it's really a short game, and you manage to have the trick there to beat the bosses. Once you figure out, it's really not that difficult. You have like a it's funny that you have an option there to uh, to have more lives and stuff, right? And we
Yeah.
didn't know because when we rent a game or usually get a game without the manual, didn't even know. So it was like a cheat code, because we didn't know it's on the manual, right? How to get to the menu. But if you don't have the manual or you have no knowledge about it, you have no clue, right? It's so I knew about the menu on the magazine, like a cheat code,
Mm.
but it's not a cheat code. It's actually something out of the box, right? Yeah, it's really
Oh,
great, and the sound of the dying, that screams out loud. Oh, that it's so I never forget about this. It's really scary. Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
A very one of the highlights of the Mega Drive. Great launch game, excellent launch game, a great port because there are some difference. Some things, some cutscenes were um, cut out from the game from the arcade, but there's some vibe there, exclusive vibes, sound and stuff. Um, the sound effects as well, the voices were kind of changed, recorded, so yeah, it's really it stands out as a port from arcade. I think for me it's more I like more the Mega Drive, of course, but the arcade is a great um, game as well. But the port was really done, really well with design, right? Um,
Yeah. So, I mean, I was just taking an opportunity as you were talking about it there, just to look at some of the images there on the back.
yeah,
I mean, they definitely brought the arcade home to an extent.
yeah,
I mean, just look at the graphics.
it's really great.
And right there in print,
Yeah.
1990 Sega Enterprises. So, this game is now definitely a classic, isn't it?
Classic, yeah, of course. And talking about classes, right? On the next one, it's definitely a classic.
I think it is. I think it is. So, what is the next one? I wonder.
This
It
one,
would be. It would be Sonic the Hedgehog.
yeah.
Oh wow, your cover's way different. Yeah, I've seen that image before.
Yeah.
I've seen that image before. Wow. Okay.
They try to reuse, right, the same design, right? I think it's pretty much the same. Maybe it's,
Yeah, it's definitely the same Sonic, isn't it?
yeah, that's probably the same one. Actually, it was first released in US, I believe, right? And um, then got to Japan and maybe Europe after. So yeah, it's really fun. It's really different, right? The it has all
Yeah.
this artwork and design. This really are stylish. It's really stylish, right? Really different.
Yeah. That's Dr. Robotnik right there, isn't it?
Yeah,
Obviously.
yeah. But the most important
Oh,
thing it's the Sonic, right? So the Sonic is there. No,
yeah,
no worry.
he's there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great game. Where do you even start with this one? I do have the manual with this one, which is
Oh,
actually quite
great.
nice.
Yeah, me too. It's
But
really it's really great. Yeah, the manual on this one I also did a reel Very brief one, right? Uh, Comparing the U.S., the original launch one, and the Japanese one, and it's a whole different world. I mean, it's black and white, you know, very
Yeah.
simplistic, very
This
straight
one
to the
is
point. Point. I would
literally.
say, yeah, the this one looks better than the U.S. I would say. I mean, it's like kind of smaller, horizontally, but it's really nice.
Yeah.
I can highlight some of the artwork here on the manual. It starts really great here. It's at the beginning, so very
Nice.
colorful, right? See all the uh, jailed animals here that were captured, or I don't know, yeah,
Yeah.
imprisoned.
Yeah.
Robotnik imprisoned all these animals, turned to the robots. Uh, I mean, it's really great. The controls here, right?
Ah,
Very
that's nice.
colorful. I think Japanese also well have that kind of culture of really explaining stuff, right? Just really explain it with words and arrows and stuff. You know,
Mm.
they really try to explain it as much as they
Yeah.
can, right? Not just mention or just really showing how to do this, how to do that, what this button does, and uh, I'm trying just to get to the stages here. Yeah, so I mean, other than just showing a picture of the stage, they're showing the sketches, right? Like,
Wow.
yeah, so they when they were designing it, you can see, a hand like a
Wow.
hand draw, right?
That's really nice to have that.
And they have the same with the some earlier stages here, the second one as well. And they have the section for the enemies,
Oh, okay.
really showing it, explaining it, right?
Wow. That's beautiful.
It's beautiful. The I think that this is one of the products that really shows why CI why we have CIB collectors, right? Because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really stand out. It's really great. I mean, this is a fantastic piece of collectible, right? And
And
I
I
really do
get
enjoy
this.
it. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Come
I can say
on.
no. I can say the U.S. In my opinion, of course, it's kind of it could get worse, right? And you get worse like with the U.S. But I mean that's fine. That's the main objective of the manual's instructions, right? And they got this, but you lose all this charm, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the whole really towards yeah actually the Sonic was designed for teenagers, right? But you get all this um, this very colorful designs, right? So it's really good for kids as well, right? Get their attention. I
And to
mean,
have got that back as well, to have opened that and, have that and just scroll through it, that must have been, quite an experience in itself as
yeah,
well. Just adds to it, doesn't it?
yeah, and even the instruction here, right? The usual instruction, don't set up on the cartridge, don't expose to heat and stuff, all with a Sonic, right? So if you really love Sonic, if you're a fan, this is definitely a must for a collectible, right? You need to have this. It's really great. It's not that expensive as well. You can still find it cheap. So yeah, great piece of collection. And yeah, as you said, what can you say about Sonic, right? It was the killer app for the Mega Drive. This is
Yeah.
19.1 we are talking about, right? 19.1 in
Yeah.
Japan and also worldwide, right? And yeah, it's really great. Um, really, Mario really had a contender there, right? And really,
That was definitely. I
yeah,
mean,
their
I
objective
remember
was,
it.
yeah,
I remember it literally resulting in not only schoolyard arguments but schoolyard fights.
yeah,
Of course, you weren't supposed to take your Game Boy. You weren't supposed to take your Game Gear to school or any Nintendo Watch products, but we all did. We
Yeah.
all did, you know. And they all came out at break time. What have you got? What are you playing? What are you? It's like, what do you mean? What am I? Are you Sega or Nintendo?
Yeah.
Oh, Sega. Oh, right, okay. It was crazy. It really was, sort of like it divided people, to an
Yeah.
extent.
I would say it's like the personification, right? That's the word. Of the Genesis does what Nintendo don't, right? That kind of
Yeah.
marketing.
Well,
So they really showing us what exactly Genesis does, what Nintendo don't. And Sonic, right? It's faster. It's like a um, all his vibes and style, more like a grown up teenager,
yeah,
behavior, right? And all the looks, all the. I'm not sure. There was also commercials, right, on it. I think. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that they really market as a like towards teenagers and more
yeah, 100%, 100%.
yeah,
I mean, not only did they market it as the more adult game
more adult,
and
yeah,
the more adult system, but it was cutthroat marketing back then. It really was. It was that they wanted to show okay, you've seen the Nintendo. Well, forget about that. There's now
yeah.
this. That was
It's
really was their approach, and not only with the Mega Drive. Also, you had it where an image that is distinctly coming to mind is a young kid sitting on the bench and he's playing the Game Boy and he whacks himself over the head with some sort of squirrel or something to get colour. And he's this guy said, there's a better way. It's the Game Gear, and then he's playing Sonic. It was crazy
yeah.
advertising, but hey, it worked.
We have a lot of this, right? Exactly. I think all around the world, the idea, the message was the same, right? He's cooler, he is faster, so way he's better in some ways that Mario stuff. So yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
really, but the Super Famicom was already launched, right, on the Japan as well.
Yeah,
So yeah, they had a great run as well, until nowadays. It's really iconic. But yeah, uh, Sega, Nintendo didn't. Nintendo already had the Super Mario World going, so I mean,
yeah,
it's not like they could they like dethroned Nintendo for a while. Let's just say, especially in the U.S. But for the long
definitely.
term, we know what happened, right? Unfortunately, with Sega.
Yeah,
But
let's not go down that
was
road. Yeah,
was the pinnacle, I would say, the peak of the '90s, right? And all the Genesis and Sega on the U.S., right? Genesis in the U.S. And the fight with the Nintendo there. But
yeah. It
it's
was
really
definitely
really
a
stands out. Yeah, and also
memorable time.
and also the sequel as well, right?
Yeah, of course. We can't do one without the other, can we?
Yeah, right. It's so awesome. This one, I have to give in for this one. It's pretty much iconic than the Japanese one. It's
Yeah, I
the
do really like the cover on that one, on this one.
yeah, this one I really we need to give in for the US and Europe release. It's so
Yeah,
much, this image. I mean, this image is so nostalgic for me. I know
it
posters and magazines. This image was everywhere, right?
was
They
right. It was.
really advertised Sonic 2. Really, I think probably maybe more, right? Heavily advertised Sonic 2 everywhere. Everywhere you see Sonic 2, right? This
Yeah, I
was
mean, like you
92.
said, I definitely. I mean, did the? I can't remember now. Maybe somebody listening would know. I know. I think that the original Sonic that I got, I'm pretty sure that came with a poster. Or
Oh,
maybe it was Sonic 2 that came with a poster. One of them definitely came with a poster, which I unfortunately didn't get with this copy that I bought. But I
Yeah,
mean, those
I had the
posters.
poster as well, but I think the poster was, inside a magazine. It's really bundled with a magazine,
I
video
remember
game
it was
magazine.
Sonic stood under. It was Sonic stood under a ringway,
Right.
a ring loop, I should say. But yeah, nothing too tremendous in the PAL manual there as regards graphics, but this one's in not too bad shape, slightly creased by the Mega Drive pins there, but
Yeah. Yeah, and
too bad a shape.
the manual on the Japanese one is really, pretty much the same as the first one, really highlighting the stuff. Maybe the first one's better. I'm trying to see some really special page here to highlight, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it has the stages here as well, all the sketches and stuff. Let's see. Yeah. So you still have, the sketches, like it's like they were designing stuff, right? Emerald Hill here,
Wow.
and then you have the chemical plant here, this the spiral stuff, iconic, very iconic as well.
Yeah, yeah. It's got the level design on number two. I mean, not
Yeah.
that number one was impressive, but I played number one on the Master System eventually. The Game Gear I had it on Mega Drive. But Sonic 2, the level design in it and the detail and just the vibe to it and the music, I think it's amazing. It's definitely I love Sonic 1, I really do. That's got, a lot of nostalgia for me, but Sonic 2, I think definitely is my
Yeah,
favorite Sonic.
especially this stage, right? We got the plane, and then you turn to supersonic and stuff. So it's basically turning to Super Saiyan, like the Dragon Ball, right? It was wonderful, right? Seeing Sonic transform into supersonic was, I know, I was amazed every time I do it. I used to use a cheat code for the stage
Ah,
selection, and on the cheat code menu, you have like, you can select that, like the rings you have, right? Then when you jump, right, when you have enough rings, you jump and you transform to supersonic. I think it's something like that, right?
okay,
Yeah,
right.
I used to do this every time. So it's so good to play as supersonic. It feels great, right?
Yeah, it's a great game in all. As I say, I think out of all of the original Sonics, it's probably the one I go back to the most.
Yeah, I tried to play the first one recently. I failed at the last stage before facing Robotnik. And also you get all the details of the enemies as well, so it's really good,
Wow.
very colorful, very detailed, and explaining in just a brief about each one. It's really stands out,
Yeah,
right?
they really go good on the details, don't they? I like that. I like the detail that they put in. I really do.
And of course you have the tails, right? We can't not talk about tails, right?
I was wondering if we were going to give them a mention. Yeah.
You actually can control tails, right, on the second controller. Can't do much,
Yeah.
but you can control it, right? It's really
I
special.
mean, yeah. I think some people were actually sort of a bit bewildered by Tails at first. Who is he? What's he doing? But he's definitely become part of the team. He's an icon as well as Sonic for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have Sonic if you don't have Tails right there, right? It's like
But I
Batman,
mean, it's
Robin
Sonic.
stuff.
It's Sonic and Tails now, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, Batman. You can have Batman without Robin, but nowadays you can't have Sonic without Tails, right? I mean,
Yeah.
at
That
least
movie.
he can show, he must be at least mentioned some way or another, right? Otherwise, we're gonna
Yeah.
miss him. Otherwise, we're gonna miss him a lot.
Yeah, no, it's to say, but when you think about them, it is you do think about both, don't you?
Yes, of course, and especially the Sonic Adventure. I know I gotta say about Sonic Adventure Dreamcast. For me, I always like to I always like the the possibility to play with different characters. That's why I love fighting games. I always love fighting games because you can play with multiple characters, right? And if
Mm,
they are unique, like they have their own moves, like Street Fighter, right? They have own background. So on the Sonic Adventure for Dreamcast, you could play as Tails. His gameplay is unique, and he has his own story, right? So it's really great. I mean, the possibility, just like Sonic and Knuckles after, right? You play as Knuckles. Knuckles has his own backstory, has his own ability. So that's really great. They really nailed that, right? They tried to do this on Mario with Luigi, right? Luigi has like a super jump in Super Mario 2. The one that's really hard. They tried to do
mm,
something like this, but Sonic definitely nailed. You know, Tails, you can play as Tails and has a different style, and Knuckles has always a different style of gameplay. You know, so it's I mean the characters, the Robotnik also. The characters were really well designed, and you got the story.
definitely.
So story is really good as well. Collector's Emerald and stuff. But characters wise, it was really well designed game, and it's become just iconic. For
Well, I
every
think
single person. I don't know anyone that doesn't enjoy Sonic, right? Everyone enjoy it, right? It's what not to like about Sonic.
well, that's what I mean. It's such what's led from one game. If you think about it, there's been so many. I mean, you mentioned 3 or 4 releases there. Sonic Adventure 1 on the Dreamcast, Sonic Adventure 2 on the Dreamcast. I
Yeah,
definitely have key fond memories of both of them. They are amazing games. But you've got Sonic and Knuckles, you've got Sonic Chaos, you've got Sonic 3D, you've got Sonic just exploded. There's no doubt about
yes.
that. And how many years down the line? I don't even want to think of it because it makes me old. But how many years down the line now? Still newer generations. They brought out more Sonics for them, and there's movies. He has become a gaming icon. There's no doubt on that.
Yeah, yeah, they're really trying, right? There was a really time that Sonic games were pretty not successful, especially on the fans.
Yeah, yeah.
But
He was lacking.
yeah, there is a hope. There is a mention about Sonic Adventure 3. No, really proper sequel to Sonic Adventure 2. I
Yeah,
expect
yeah,
Chaos Guard and everything. So I mean, probably we have all this Sonic because of Sonic 2, right? Because you have like other mascots they tried, like the bunkers, right? And for the PC Engine, like and other mascots on the video game industry, but they really were successful, probably thanks to Sonic 2 as well, right? They really good. You had everything to fail, right? You could have something to fail there, but they improve it on the Sonic 2, and that's why I think that's my opinion. We have Sonic and 2 nowadays because of Sonic 2, right?
yeah, yeah. Most definitely. I mean, you've got to think about that as well. There's not a lot of things you can really say. A lot of people say the original is better. Well, I would have to disagree with Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. I love Sonic 1, I really do. But if I had to choose one on a desert island, it would probably be Sonic 2.
Yeah, you if you think about Sonic, you really you really need to go supersonic, right? On Sonic 1 you can't. So Sonic is only real Sonic if you can go supersonic. So
Yeah. Sonic
right,
is
it's
now isn't a game, it's a genre, isn't it? It's
yeah,
not
of
a game,
course.
it's a genre. It's got, you've got memorabilia, you've got music, you've got games, you've got movies. He's everywhere, and rightly so.
Yeah, and then we got a special run, right? To
Well, the next one is a game that I so wanted as a kid. And I mean, I really, really wanted this game, but I didn't have it. Um, it's not a cheap game, is it?
right. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh,
Um,
the cupboards are very similar, aren't they?
yeah, it's pretty much the same.
They are identical virtually. You've got a bit slightly different text on the bottom by the looks of it, obviously.
And funny that this game was not that uh, well reviewed, I believe. No, not many people enjoyed back in the day, but I enjoy it. I play this a lot.
Yeah,
Really love it. The game. No,
same. It's just I don't know. I mean, I'm going to have to talk about this one quite a lot. Sorry.
no, go
Um,
ahead.
I've always been a Michael Jackson fan. I love his music. You know, I'm not going to go into anything else, but I think he was an amazing musician. I think the game is amazing.
One of the
I
best, right?
hadn't no manual notes. That's unfortunate. Cartridge is in pretty good shape, but it's worth quite a bit now. It's a sought after game, and I think it is a really, really good game on the Sega Mega Drive. You've got the just an ultimate platformer. You've got really nice graphics. You've got well designed levels. The music is there. That really adds to it, the vibe and whatnot. Wow, look at that.
Yes. And there was the arcade game was right. There was the arcade game one, but this one is definitely different, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't have it to hand, but I do actually have Michael Jackson Moonwalker on quite a few systems, as in I have it emulated on the Amiga. I do have an original Commodore 64 tape of Michael Jackson Moonwalker, which still works. So I have the poster with that. It's a really nice poster. It's actually the Mega Drive print game poster there, which they used for the cover. So that's nice to have that.
Yeah.
But I definitely, obviously, the Sega Mega Drive to me is the bring home version, For those that know and those that have seen the arcade version, it is quite different. I love the arcade version of Michael Jackson. I have had the chance to play it in an arcade, and that was awesome. They're both brilliant games. Sega
I
Mega
think
Drive
we can
port.
say
And
both are beaten ups, right? Kind of beat ups.
yeah. They're very, very different as platformers,
Yeah.
levels and whatnot. Music, I believe, is different as well. But what I like about the Mega Drive version is not only the graphics and the music, but you can actually select the music. You can actually go into settings and mess with the sound effects and play the tracks, which I really love as a feature as well. You can actually make some pretty interesting tunes by playing with the sound effects and then changing to music, which is funny.
Yeah.
I think it's a keeper. It's a nice game to have for the Mega Drive. It's one I go back to quite often. I do really want to do a playthrough of it. Actually, I think that would be amazing to do a full playthrough of it. Maybe
Yes.
don't know whether don't know whether it's high score.
I've done for my profile on Instagram, and I think it's the first time I actually beat the game.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was a really hard game for me. I don't remember going to this stage. Actually, I back in the day as a kid, I reached. I believe I reached the cemetery. The graveyard.
yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
reached
that's a hard
here.
level in itself. That's a
Yeah,
hard level in itself. I think that's where I mostly end up dying.
yeah,
Really,
me too.
so much things, so many obstacles. You got
Yes.
you got you got them coming at you at all angles. There, you really have.
Right, and at the last stages, you become, the cyborg there, stuff, and then you start shooting, and it's really great. It's
It
really
is.
by its
And
time,
that,
it's definitely a standout game as well.
yeah, and that feature is in the arcade as well.
Yeah,
I should
transform, right?
say, by the way, yeah, I should say that that is in the arcade because I think you have to get a power up or something for it, and you can instantly do it rather than it just being on the last level. I'm sure I've done it on one of the first parts, but I definitely utmost recommend both of them, the Mega Drive port and the arcade version, if you get a chance to play them.
Yeah, and you have like what's the name of his monkey there? Bubbles, right?
Oh,
Bubbles,
Bubbles, yeah,
Bubble.
Bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do have Bubbles, yeah.
He just pointed out there when you were done saving the kids, right? He points the direction where you should go to meet the
Yeah,
boss, right?
yeah,
It's really
yeah,
great.
he does, yeah.
It's really funny. And
Yeah, because I actually wondered what he was doing at first.
and you do the specials, right? You can use the special feature that you have like powers, right? You can save up the powers, then make everyone dances with you.
Yeah,
It's really
yeah,
awesome. I mean, what game does that, right? So it's a really unique idea. It's really stands out very well. You know, it's really well designed. Sound is amazing, as you mentioned. So unfortunately, as you said as well, it's not that cheap nowadays to get, especially the full
no,
box. But you know, if you
yeah,
didn't try, I recommend this for everyone. Really, yeah, it's really a love or hate it, but you really should try this game. And if you manage to have it collect as well, that's even better. But yeah, it's really was a
definitely.
time, the 90, it gets after the Moonwalker movie, right? They also try to promote that when we have these games tie-ins with the movie, right? The era.
Yeah,
And they really did a great job, in my opinion. And as a kid, you can really enjoy it, right? It's a really kid special game, you know.
definitely. And I also recommend it on other systems as well. That you definitely should check it out on other systems. I
Yeah,
quite like the music in the Commodore 64 version. Not the easiest game, totally different to the Mega Drive port, nothing like it, but unique in itself again. And as you say, it was obviously tying in with a movie, but I think I paid maybe 55 pounds, something like that, for my copy. And
yeah,
that was that a few years back now, and that's with no manual. So, it's not a cheap game, but I definitely reckon it's one that you can
great.
add to your collection and you will go back to it. You will go back to it. It will earn its money.
Yeah, that's great. And I think before we conclude, I just really want to show really quick two games here. Not sure if you're familiar with it.
Oh, the second one, yes. What's the first one?
That's DJ Boy and that's Castle of Illusion.
Castle
Uh,
Illusion, definitely.
that's
I've not, don't know the first one.
Yeah, that these two were my first games on 1990 when my dad got the Mega Drive. He got like the um second release on the Japan. The box was different design. The second design of the box there, really like in the 90s or 89 stuff like that. Um, it's
Nice
really
cover. It's
yeah.
comical.
Actually, this is an original one, right? The Castle of Illusion. I believe it was designed for Mega Drive and ported to Master System, if I'm not wrong. And this one is a port from an arcade. It's really a beaten up, like you're skating, and then you have the bad guys there and you have the bosses. It's also like you can upgrade, you get money out of the enemies, then you can upgrade your character. So it's really fun. If you play the Japanese version, you're gonna see some weird stuffs like Japanese stuff that were censored in US. But yeah, in the end, it's a really fun game. It's really hard as well. I couldn't beat as a kid. My older brother usually beat the games, and also I have something special here on this game. uh, the Castle of Illusion, one of those games that you play as easy, right? But you don't get to the ending. If you play on easy difficult, they say, okay, you wanna complete the game, you gotta go play to the normal difficult, right?
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, and it was really challenging. I couldn't beat this. I was like 5, 6 years old. My brother was like, like a teenager already. So when he beat this game, we actually did make a party. We were celebrating. We were screaming, shouting, yeah, we did it. And you have a nice cutscene when you beat the witch at the end, and you save, uh, um, you save like, forgot the name, Minnie, right? You save Minnie
Oh, right.
from the
Okay.
castle. Basically the witch kidnapped Minnie in the castle, and you went through these bosses. And the soundtrack is really amazing as well. Gameplay, and then you finally save her from the witch, and then you go, rainbow stuff, right? Like it's like a bridge, a rainbow bridge. It's really colorful. It's pretty amazing. It's like a cutscene, right? So we celebrated. We were so happy because the game is definitely hard. As a kid, I tried to play it recently. I couldn't even reach the final stage. It's one of those games like Lion King and none of the Disney games, right?
Yeah.
They're really difficult. I'm not sure what they were thinking. Coding, angry video game nerd here. What were they thinking, making such a difficult game, right? But it's really challenging. I think it's worth the money, right? Because if it's a very
Yeah.
easy game, you beat like in some couple of hours, and why you're gonna go back, right? So I think that's one of the motives, reasons, right? And yeah, just wanted to mention this before we conclude. And yeah, it's really great. It's really make
Yeah.
my it's really
Definitely.
nostalgic for me.
I mean, you've got some great memories there by the sounds of it. Some great memories of that game.
Yeah,
I have played it. I have played it, but I've never owned it. It's been like when I've been somewhere else. So yeah, maybe I should definitely look into that one. I have seen some, clips of it and on YouTube and stuff. It definitely looks like a
yeah,
fun game, but like you said, not an easy one.
yeah. Great. Well,
Yeah.
that's it, right?
Well, fantastic, buddy. And as you see, Midnight Resistance is on in the background there. I'm going to try and have another go at that, see if we can actually get a score on the board. But yeah, so we've got the challenge for Midnight Resistance running from the 1st of February to the 15th. If anybody wants to lodge their score on Discord, feel free to. I am going to wait a little bit until I can get my score up a bit and at least get onto level 2. But I am enjoying it so far. It's quite challenging, but it's definitely a fun game. It's got some nice music on it as well. So look forward to doing that. And yeah, we are Retroslice Gaming, and thank you for tuning in to both of us and hearing our Mega Drive highlights. We will be back with another slice of retro in a mini podcast soon.
Yes, great, Chris. Thank you very much for having me, and see you guys soon.
Take care. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye bye.